like, jeez.
Good afternoon and welcome to Grand Rapids Community College Board of Trustees meeting Monday, March 20, 2023. We have a couple of trustees who are unable to be with us this afternoon. Trustee Breinsma is home ill. I'm watching this on YouTube. And Trustee Williams is traveling out of the country for business. So wonder if you, President Lepper, or any trustees have any guests in the audience that you would like to introduce?
Do not.
Anyone? Then let's, first order of business then is the approval of the agenda. Trustees, this is a time to move any items from the consent agenda to the regular agenda for additional consideration if you're inclined to do that. Any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Support? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That carries. We move now to public comment. This is a time for anyone in our audience who wishes to address the board on any matter that's on today's agenda. Now is your time to do that. We will have one other time for public comment.
Just have a comment on that. I went to the GRPS school board meeting about a month ago, and they have people lining out the door to make public comments. Front and front. So we got to do something to get people come in our meetings.
Trustee Brame, you are out of order.
Way out of order.
Way out of order.
Way out.
I've heard of lousy ideas in my life. I think this is the lousiest of the lousiest ideas.
I withdraw my comment. Thank you.
Only then. I was going to say the board won't comment or even listen to your comments, but we're going to listen to that one. So anyone, in all seriousness, anyone wish to address the board at this time? Seeing none, then we will move on to property tax, state revenue. I'm going to ask Lisa Freiberger to come and please introduce that.
Afternoon. You have before you a resolution for our estimate taxes and appropriations for fiscal year 2024. This is a requirement of the Community College Act. They ask in the act that the board officially adopt a resolution with those two specific estimations for next year's budget prior to the third week of April. You've seen this resolution annually. The total numbers here under property taxes, just as a reminder, includes both our general fund and our plant fund allocation. The number looks a bit different than what we see typically in our general fund analysis. And the state appropriation includes approximately $7.8 million of the unfunded accrued actuarial liability for the MIPSRS fund, in addition to our operating allocation from the state. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? We do have the resolution in front of us. Anyone? Therefore, I'll accept a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Motion?
Well, thank you. Support for that?
Sure.
Any other discussion on that matter? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Lisa. And stay right up there, Lisa. We'll move right on to monitoring reports. If you do have an update for us, now's your time to give
Certainly
that.
a brief one, thank you. The financial statements for February were included in your packet. Would be happy to answer any specific questions on them. A couple of things to note: the budget has been updated, to reflect the mid-year adoption that was done at your last board meeting. So that is fully reconciled now. And then just a reminder of where we are in the budget process, and then I will pause and answer any questions that you might have. From the budget process perspective, we continue to work. You will see tuition coming later in your agenda today, working towards bringing you a full analysis of all budgeted funds, including our general fund, at your work session in May. The state is still working through their budget process, so there's much that we don't know. The state's next big milestone will be the Revenue Consensus Conference in May, and they are still targeting at this point in time mid to late June to have a budget at the state level adopted. So we will continue to watch that.
Thank you. Questions? Thanks. Thank you. We'll move on to reports or updates. I believe, Dr. Lepper, you're the only one on our list that has an update for us this afternoon. So
Thank
I'll
you,
turn it
Chair.
over to you.
Thank you, Chair Gucci. A few updates I would just share with the community and with the board is that earlier this month, we hosted Susan Corbin, who is the director of the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, and hosted several members of the community to participate. She was here sharing with us more information about the governor's proposed budget, and we asked questions around its impact for us as an institution. Of course, that's still a moving target, but it was a great opportunity for us to hear from her. The second item I would share is that there are 2 commencement ceremonies. We're following the same schedule and structure that we have in the past, and those will take place Friday, April 28th. It's hard to believe that commencement's almost upon us. Well, the first one will be at 4 p.m. with the Schools of Liberal Arts and School of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And then at 6 p.m., the School of Health Sciences and School of Business and Industry, and those will take place in the field house. The last 2 items I will share are really exciting
Question
news.
on that.
Yes.
So, at some point during the pandemic, we decided it was safe for us to split those up, and so just because of distance, we wanted to have 2 ceremonies. Is this something that we're going to do from now on, just as a practice? What are your thoughts?
We are working to see if we can identify a space. So now it's a space issue. The way my understanding is with the limitation of the space just in general within our field house, it's making it difficult to accommodate all of our students and their families and guests. And right now, even with that current structure, we're limiting 4 tickets per graduate. So I have asked Misty and others to start looking to see if there's other space that we can look at in the future and have a single commencement ceremony and allow more folks to come celebrate with their students.
Just another question on the graduation. Do we have kind of balanced representation from trustees at those? Are we good there, Misty? Good, okay, all right. So everyone clear on what's expected of us as individuals? If not, double check with Misty.
Show up and shake hands, right?
Show up and shake hands.
And smile.
Right,
And smile, yep.
Right, thanks. All right, keep going.
Thank you. The next item I'll share with you is really exciting news. Our women's basketball team is playing in the national tournament. So we are hosting a viewing party on March 21st. The tournament takes place in Port Huron, Michigan, and we are having a viewing party, watching it live in 212 in the Ford Fieldhouse at 3 p.m. We sent a message out to the college community to show support, asking people to really rally behind our team, making it a GRCC Raiders Day, so we're asking people to wear their blue and yellow and come to the field house to watch, and sending our support to our women's basketball team. Their first round is playing the Community College of Baltimore County, so this is a huge honor for us as an institution to have a team making it to the national tournament.
Cool, yeah.
So you should have information if you would like to watch live. You can click on the link there, or you can join us in 212 in the field house. At 3 p.m. in 212 Ford Fieldhouse. The other item I would share with you, again, highlighting the success of our students, we had some Sequia Institute of Culinary Education participate in NASA's Hunch program or competition. And there was a cook-off, which I got to serve as a judge for, as well as Associate Provost Jones and others from the community, that took place over at the Public Museum. We were one of 10 teams selected across the nation to participate in the final cook-off, which will be in Houston. And what will happen is, or what has happened to this point is, our students were given a charge to cook a dish that was within NASA's standards, so they had to take into account things like sodium and so on and so forth to meet their nutritional requirements. And they will be presenting their dish in Houston and competing as one of the top 10, and if their dish is selected, then it will be put in the International Space Station on the next mission. So very cool.
That's cool.
So congratulations to them. And also we had students who participated in the same program that was part of the Health and Biomedical Sciences category, and what they were asked to do is come up with edible packaging, also for NASA. And so we had 2 students who were a team that participated in this, and they've been chosen as finalists in that category as well. So great accomplishments for many of our students, and we're very proud of them, as I know you are. And that concludes my report.
A lot of good things have happened since you became president of this college, so.
Well, I don't know about that, but our students do amazing
That's
things,
great.
and our faculty
Yeah.
are amazing in supporting them.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Any questions for Dr. Lepper? Thank you. That then concludes our updates. We do not have community connections this month, so that leads us right to the consent items. A motion, please, to approve the consent items as they were presented in our packet. Let me try that again.
So
A
moved.
motion, please. Thank you. Is there support for that? Support. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. That does carry. We do have a couple of items over $100,000 also that were presented to us that need our approval. A motion to approve those purchases over $100,000, please. Motion. Thank you. Is there support for that? Support. Thank you. Any discussion? Questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That then also carries. I'm going to invite Lisa back to the podium. Staff has done significant work on tuition recommendations for 23-24. As trustees, we had an opportunity to spend time last week in some initial conversations around tuition for the upcoming academic year. Our hope is that we'll conclude those discussions tonight and actually approve tuition rates for the upcoming year. So, Lisa, I'm going to turn it back over to you to kind of continue leading us through conversation and discussion.
Thank you. And absolutely appreciate the introduction and the opportunity that we've had prior to this meeting to have conversation about the tuition rates and how they fit into the overall budget package and picture as we know it now. We are pleased to be able to bring you what we believe is a proposed tuition change that really recognizes the needs of our students and balances that with our overall budget. We are recommending a 1.7% tuition increase that for our resident student would move our current rate of $118 per contact hour to a proposed rate of $120 per contact hour, a $2 increase. The 1.7% is then applied, again proposed to be applied to all of our specific tuition rates, moving our non-resident up $4, which is a 1.6% increase, and our out-of-state rate up $6, again, proportional percentage increase in line with the proposed $2 resident rate increase. As we've discussed, our two differential tuition tiers are also increased by that approximately 1.6, 1.7%. Again, those numbers are rounded so that we retain a whole dollar tuition amount rather than an odd cents number. Our differential dual enrollment rate, that's the rate that we charge, one all-in rate that we charge when our faculty go out and teach at our respective high schools in both Kent and Ottawa County. There is a resident and non-resident rate there. Those are, again, up respectively 1.6 to 1.7%, $2 for the resident and $3 for the non-resident rate. Job training and construction trades, which are both per course or per semester rates, are likewise increased by that 1.6 to approximately 1.7% increase. Also included in the chart that we talked through were the increased rates for our early childhood learning lab, or our preschool rates. Those are differentiated between infant, toddler, preschool, and then a daily rate and a registration fee. Those percentage increases were done in cooperation with our early childhood team and their review of the market in Kent County, again, keeping the rates that we charge on the lower end of that scale, recognizing that we want to be accessible. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Would look for your support.
So these are the rates that we left with when we finished our conversations last week. One of the things the audience doesn't get the benefit of is just the nature of the conversation that takes place around the table here. And I'm wondering if trustees, even if you may not have questions, there may be a point of emphasis that you would like to make or a comment that you would like to make before we accept a motion to approve these. So point of emphasis from anyone, a comment, anyone? Feel no obligation, but can you?
I think that this is very important work. Many of the people in the audience, because you guys are in education, know that college is becoming unaffordable to many individuals, particularly the four-year schools. In combination with rising educational costs, if you look at, just inflation in general, whether it's eggs or gas or housing that the president is in the process of purchasing, the fact that this organization was able to do that hard work and keep these increases to low single-digit increases is significant. And I just want to applaud the team for doing that. This could make a difference in someone deciding whether they can afford to go to school or not. So I think this is very important.
Anyone else?
I think I would just echo what Kenyatta said in terms of it's the perfect storm related to scarcity of resources for some, and so maintaining quality, the quality of programming, and ensuring that it's still accessible is so key, and the fact that this team has worked to do that is commendable. And I think given some of the conversations we've had about what's happening nationally, community colleges are positioned that much more to be a help in terms of credentials and being a bridge. So kudos to being an accessible quality opportunity. Yeah.
Anyone else?
If I may, I would feel I would be remiss in my role as president to say thank you for those comments, and we appreciate that. But you're absolutely right. It's the hard work of faculty and staff at this institution who help us do that every year. Lisa's team does a significant amount in terms of preparing the budget, but it's a team effort. And so I want to say thank you to all of our employees who help us achieve that. And we all recognize the impact on our students, but also thank you to the board who help support us in doing that and make that possible. So you're part of that.
One thing I noticed, just for those of you in the audience, it's incredibly important for this institution to be accessible. Sometimes there's a temptation to have all of that land on the back of the people who work here, and we're incredibly sensitive to that. We try to find that sweet spot where this place is a place of joy to work as well as a place of joy to learn. And each year, we annually approve a tuition, and we're going to approve a budget in another couple months. And it just feels like this kind of quick 30-second, all in favor say aye, all opposed say the same sign, that it doesn't capture kind of the heartbeat of this group's passion for its work. So kind of kudos from me to the rest of the team here, and never losing sight of that kind of search for the sweet spot, if you will. And sometimes we miss it, and sometimes we get close to it, but that's our hope that we will. So, anybody else on this before I accept a motion to approve it? Then I will accept a motion to approve the tuition rate as presented by Lisa, and that was in front of us here. Motion to approve?
Motion.
Is there support for that? Any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same sign. That does carry. Thank you very much, Lisa, for that and for your work on that. That does lead us to our last open comment as we near the end of our meeting. This is the time, if anyone wishes to address the board on any matter relative to the college, this is the time to do that. And I will look for body movement before I give further instructions. Seeing none. Before we adjourn, other comments from trustees before we adjourn? Anyone?
I love the points of pride that you shared, and I'm in particularly biased towards women's athletics, and I think it's pretty cool how the community is rallying behind the women's hoopers, so kudos, that's great.
It is great.
Yeah. Anyone else?
A comment about a recent event that took place on campus, and that was the Latino Youth Conference. It was a pleasure to see the groups of students back on the campus, and it's great to see the institution continuing to support this population of students. I believe a lot of them were in the 8th grade or middle school, and I can't even express how important it is to continue to support that population of students around that age group, in potentially even younger. And so my hat goes off to all the organizers that helped make that happen. And I know there was a lot of folks involved in the planning of that. So great to see it, in addition to other groups that were here during that spring break week, if I'm not mistaken. Spring break for us here. So great opportunity to have students here. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Sal.
I'd like to piggyback off his comment. We also had the Giants Awards since the last time we've met, I believe.
Right.
And just a phenomenal event. Just, you know, it's over at the Boss. And, I mean, there are literally hundreds of people in this room celebrating the contributions that African Americans have made in this community. And so I thank the college for sponsoring that and giving us the opportunity to come together and just celebrate one another. So thank you.
I might as well add the third.
Go
The
ahead.
African American Male Achievement Conference was the day after, I think, and we certainly have heard from young men and older men in terms of their delight in continuing to have that. I want to say it's over like 20 years old or something like that. So lots of good stuff happening on campus.
And if I could just share with you for the, our numbers for the first conference were 800. And for the African American Young Male Leadership Conference, I think we were close to 1,100.
Great.
Anyone else? Hearing nothing else, our meeting is adjourned.